You don't happen to have? Do you have any Ethel Merman type of music? Like, is there?
Dan, we're trying to be a younger show here.
I know.
Did you not watch the intro?
It would be a show tune for sure.
There's no
That Lucy's friend in that movie?
like show
business,
like
no business.
So not Ethel Mertz.
No.
That's where I thought you were going.
There aren't a lot of
No.
Ethels. We're not making Ethels anymore.
Why?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. It does sound like a woman beginning to sing poorly at the top end of a musical. An old woman.
Why?
I want to get to what is happening with Craig Counsell in a second. But before we do that, Stugotz, I do want to address what Billy just brought up with Ron McGill. Indisputably good television at any time that I've been alive. Putting on Arnold Schwarzenegger with the donkey that's in his home and just seeing where that goes. That is, it's what I want with my Monday Night Football. It's what I want with all of my television. If I'm watching Captain Lee and I'm watching anything, I want a donkey wandering around with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's going to make anything better.
You can't put a donkey on a boat, Dan. That's crazy. I mean, what are you doing?
Arnold
Jimmy
Schwarzenegger
yet?
does have a famous animal friend. I saw it in the documentary. Sly Stallone just came out with a documentary to counter Arnold's documentary. Arnold's documentary was 3 parts. I'm sure it's better than Sly Stallone's, but they're still competing. And Sly Stallone, I can't imagine having a donkey in his home.
Well, no one you can imagine having a donkey living in their home, probably.
I was unsurprised when I was more surprised that Schwarzenegger had a tank, had an actual. He was driving around a property with a tank. I was more surprised by that than I was in the documentary seeing that.
Why? That's the most on-brand thing ever.
Yes.
I just didn't know that. I didn't know that.
He's Arnold. I, mean,
I did not know a civilian could get a tank.
I didn't either.
It's
Where
not
do you buy a
something-
tank?
Did you know you could own
Governator.
a donkey? I mean,
Yes,
you did?
Like, yes.
Oh, it's common knowledge, huh? Sorry.
He's right.
Yeah.
That's how my dad used to do strike 3 calls when I would pitch to him out in the front yard. Hee-haw 3.
Hee-haw 3. That's right. Those were the days. Only if it was a strike, though.
Right.
You don't abuse that call.
Lulu's a good name for a donkey.
I agree. That's a handsome donkey. That's a good-looking donkey with a big giant head. The photo made the donkey look like it weighed about 1,000 pounds.
The Mannings have it figured out. They have really conquered business in terms of profiting off of famous royalty names at the quarterback position. They've figured it out with a giant company, and they've teamed up with ESPN to support something that, while it has its critics, all they do is use their name power to get something like that every week because it's hard to get Arnold Schwarzenegger to show up for your broadcast. They use the power of their name in a way that gets better guests than anyone else can get for a weekly thing, and they do it in a way that pops here and there. You don't even have to be watching the broadcast. They're just enhancing whatever the future of their business looks like because they're going to be conquered for 10 years doing whatever they want from their homes, from wherever they want, with whoever the partners are that they want.
But they still have plenty of clunky moments, and those are my favorite parts because
Yes.
Peyton doesn't know what to do. He gets real red, and Eli starts laughing. So, like, while there are moments where the donkey's just crushing it, great television, there are also moments with Trevor Lawrence where it's just awkward.
Do you think that Trevor Lawrence was watching along at home and was like, crap, now what do I
gotta follow
do?
the donkey.
I got to follow the I mean, Trevor Lawrence,
Not Arnold.
a great from Cartersville, Georgia, is probably, like, not that he's a bore, but, like, how do you follow up a donkey and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't know what Trevor Lawrence's self-assessment is as the number 1 quarterback pick in the draft in a very famous sport who is the centerpiece of his city. I don't know. I would assume that most quarterbacks who are good in that league have a very strong self-assessment. I'm not sure that they come away from that saying, I'm following Arnold and the donkey. I have no chance of being good here. I really don't know. It's a good question. I don't know that Trevor Lawrence thinks to himself, I have to be maximum entertainer here. It's much easier to go in confidently if you're just Trevor Lawrence and all you got to do is be Trevor Lawrence. You don't need to bring a donkey. You don't need to bring Schwarzenegger. You just bring your 6 and 2.
Yeah, but given the option, you'd want to go pre-donkey, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Or you're Keyshawn Johnson, and then you have the Lawrence buffer there in between, and then you get to
Right.
Keyshawn at the end.
Right.
We did get Trevor Lawrence doing a British accent. Because they were like, you're Jags, you're England's team. What do you think? He's like, I'd love being their team, bruv. It was great.
On the other side of this, there is serious tension on the regular telecast because they are asking Joe Buck and Troy Aikman to constantly promote what's going on the Manning cast, and you can tell Aikman is not a fan of it.
Right.
You can also tell if you watched the telecast last night, the normal one, that Aikman is not a fan of Zach Wilson. He took 3 hours and used Zach Wilson as a piñata last night. He absolutely crushed Zach Wilson, and it was very entertaining to watch. Aikman's great. I love him. But he is not happy about promoting the Mannings. He hates it.
He should be. Who promotes another show?
Right.
It's
the same network.
Family of networks. Family of Pablo Torre finds out. Check it out.
Cinephile.
God bless football. The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody.
With Greg Cody.
Fine.
Now, that's
So
the
now
way
it's
to promote
okay.
a show.
So now it's good.
Yeah,
Promotion's
now
fine
it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's fine. Yeah.
Troy Aikman did spend the entire time bashing the Jets. Stugotz's take from last week, all of last week, that if Aaron Rodgers comes back, he shouldn't be allowed to start if Zach Wilson is healthy and the team is in playoff contention. Yeah, that's the
about
proper.
the right response.
That's the proper response.
Because dude got hot with 50 seconds left against Tommy DeVito.
Against the Giants.
It was a great moment, though.
I want to get to what's happening to Craig Counsell because I didn't see this one coming in a lot of ways. I don't know that the Mets saw this one coming. I don't know. David Sampson got this one wrong. It seemed to be a foregone conclusion that Craig Counsell was going to be the manager of the Mets because of relationships. I don't know that a lot of people had him going to the Cubs. He signed a giant deal with the Cubs where he is making more as a manager than he ever did as a player. And now the owner of the Brewers says, because they were surprised and hurt by Craig Counsell leaving, evidently. You don't say this quote if you're Mark Atanasio unless you're hurt. We've lost Craig, but Craig has also lost us. He's lost this community. And now, like, Craig Counsell's stuff is being vandalized.
Well, get over it. I mean, seriously, if you're the owner, the fan base, everyone trashing Craig Counsell, he bailed on us, he ditched us, he wasn't loyal to us, we're a good team, he's from Wisconsin. Are you kidding me, Dan? Are you kidding me? He took a better job in a bigger market. He took one of 5 or 6 jobs that still matter in Major League Baseball. The Cubs, the Cardinals, the Phillies, the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. Maybe 7 jobs that matter. So he took a better job in a bigger market. And so he's suddenly not welcome back in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Guess what? Craig Counsell, your life just got better. I mean, seriously, enough. I can't believe people are this outraged over Craig Counsell and a manager leaving their market. Who cares? Nobody.
But he did do it in kind of a questionable way.
So?
Like, even if you're a Cubs fan, like, David Ross was a beloved Cubs manager for a long time. He may have been on the outs because the season didn't go the way he expected, but at the same time, like, he took someone else's job. It wasn't an opening that existed until there was clearly negotiations behind the scenes to land him and then fire the manager that was there.
Yeah, but this stuff happens also. It would have made you feel better if they were like the day before, David Ross and the Cubs have parted ways. Like, what's the difference?
Right.
Like, he leaves the job.
Right.
If I may stop for just a second and salute what I believe to be the world's laziest graffitiers. Craig Counsell's Little League field.
It is funny.
It has the Craig Counsell's name on it, or it did before someone just wrote the word ass over Craig Counsell
Does
Park.
every former Major League player get a park? I'm surprised he has a park.
Craig Counsell is a World Series hero. Thank you, Greg Cody, for your always impeccable timing. This is about where he started to deteriorate the last few weeks. It's where we lose him if he hasn't done it back in my day. The delirium sets in.
No, I am feeling it right now. Yeah. I'm full of vitality. And listen, I get why the Brewers ownership is angry at Craig Counsell. They gave him his start in managing. He did 9 years, I think. with Milwaukee.
Overachieved the entire time.
Good
Nothing,
years.
Yeah,
nothing was
good years.
expected from Milwaukee in payroll, and they were consistently good. And he's regarded by people who really know as a master of preparation, as somebody who really knows the sport, is perfect for the modern day of sitting between the front office and the data and management of human beings whose feelings you need to care about.
So the people of Milwaukee and Wisconsin, they don't want anyone to get a chance, get good at their job, and then go to a better job in a better market. That's why they're stuck in Kenosha. I'm serious. Like, they're not thinking big. Craig Counsell's thinking big. He got the Cubs job. It's a great job. Who wouldn't take that job over the Brewers?
I don't mind him leaving for a bigger market and a better job, but it was incumbent upon him to do so in an amicable way and not blindside the team that had just employed you for almost 10 years.
Is it?
I think so.
I would say more problematic in the realm of these things is that somebody else had a job who was popular, and that part is cold. It's a cold part of the business. But you believe he owes when he's someone who has to keep this private, because we are in agreement, right, that some of this stuff before it happens, you don't want it leaking, correct?
Yeah.
So you owe what to your employer as a courtesy when you're leaving?
A smooth exit, an exit free of controversy, an exit free of
But
your owner
is it-
saying you've lost this city. Get out of here.
But isn't leaving the controversy? Like, there is no such thing as leaving.
Is there a good way to leave?
Is there? Yeah, I mean, if leaving is what they're mad about, not the way he left. They don't. That quote. He's lost the community.
Right.
He's lost the community.
Well, he also went to their rival, which could be in play here too.
That's how we're doing it.
That's how they can be doing it, yeah.
But no one in the community is thankful for the 9 seasons he gave them? Like, this guy's the gatekeeper of the community?
I mean,
Who
it's
is he?
very like LeBron leaving Akron vibes the first time, though. Like, yeah, they could be thankful for him, but you can also be pissed that
But
he left.
also, and it's one of ours. That one's always tough. That one, when people get regional identity and he allows you to say, he allows big shot Stugotz to say, get over yourself, Kenosha. That's why you've always lived in Kenosha, because you're a Kenosha.
You're not thinking big enough, buddy.
I mean, Chicago's not far away. I mean,
Everybody says that in Milwaukee. It's the thing you hear. It's 90 minutes away. That's its chief feature, Milwaukee. And there's a place that's got burritos as big as your head. That's it. But you know how mad people in Kenosha get? Because Stugotz gets to rain down condescension from I live in Parkland, a bigger town than Kenosha. I feel like an asshole all the time. But rarely in sports do I feel as much asshole as what I'm about to say as the person who goes dark when everyone else is celebrating something. Because right now people are enjoying so very much the triumphant Josh Dobbs story. He's got the great nickname, the Pastronaut, because he was interested in space science in college. So they're calling him the Pastronaut. He's played for 5 teams since week 15 of last year. And the way that he just did it, doesn't know the names of his offensive linemen, is asking in the huddle, what are you guys on the right side of the huddle doing on this play? Everyone's enjoying.
Cadence video.
he figured it out, man. I mean, got the W.
And on top of everything else, the video of him coming into the locker room, where he's being celebrated by there's a video crew. It's the great feeling of you've won on the road. You're a bunch of warriors. You've helped save your season. Kirk Cousins is down, and he walks back into the locker room to the game ball, and everyone's saying, like, keep it down. Let's make him feel welcome. That video was moving to people. And all I could think about while everybody was celebrating the Pastronaut is poor Jaron Hall splattered at the goal line, and that's how quickly you lose your job and your opportunity in that league. The new guy comes in and wins your locker room.
Right.
You were trying to get that extra yard. Hey, Robert Williams, thanks for all your work for the Boston Celtics. We trade you out of there and we've wrecked your career. Thanks for nothing. That's how quick it can happen. Everyone is celebrating Josh Dobbs, and I feel terrible that Jaren Hall had the opportunity of a lifetime and was splattered at the goal line, unconscious, and has to watch this video. He's too groggy to understand what he's watching, but what he's watching is there goes my job.
Yeah, but he got that job because Kirk Cousins tore his ACL.
That is
or his
correct.
Achilles.
It can happen that quickly in that league. That is absolutely correct. But I feel like a jerk because everyone is celebrating Josh Dobbs today. It is a positive story that tramples a human being in the process.
Two of them. If the Jets had Josh Dobbs, they'd be 6-2.
I like that take. I like Josh Dobbs. There's something there with him, by the way.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of money this year. And I'm not saying now this season. I'm saying in the future. He's going to be a backup, possibly a starter for bad teams, but a backup like Chase Daniel who's going to make $50 million in this league.
He should sit out the rest of the season starting right now.
Oh, wow. There was an
It's
interesting.
not going to get better for him right now.
Hold out.
There was an interesting little nugget that he provided the media that his agent told him, it looks like you're going to get traded, pack your bags. It's either going to be Minnesota or Cleveland. I thought that was a juicy little tidbit. Cleveland had traded Josh Dobbs over to Arizona, and watching P.J. Walker and all the replacements that tried to replace Deshaun Watson, provided his shoulders hurting because they're playing a good team. Josh Dobbs would have actually been, if you look at the tape this season, would have been an upgrade.
Yes.
He might have taken Deshaun Watson's job over there.
I don't know that he is a winning quarterback. I have seen him lose a great
Did
deal.
you watch the game last weekend? I mean,
Yeah,
W.
Yeah, and before
Scrambling.
that was 1-7.
Bad team, though.
He's got guts.
I mean-
He's got moxie. You can even tell that with, like, he had to
Go and look
replace
his career
Malik
record up,
Willis.
Stugotz.
I
Tell
don't
me
wanna-
what. Tell
he's
me what.
1-0 as far as I'm
Look,
concerned.
it's not a great situation usually if Josh Dobbs, prior to this portion of his career, had to come in for you. He was a man off the street a couple of times in his career, but Josh Dobbs performed admirably in a difficult situation when he was with the Titans, and in being a difficult beat, like, you didn't want to bet against the Arizona Cardinals. You
Right.
didn't.
Yes.
And, good teams win.
I was
great teams
upset.
don't.
I had that game, and I was upset when Dobbs came in. I mean,
Yeah, Josh Dobbs he's a gamer.
yeah.
Well, the minute Kyler Murray came close to being ready to play again, he was suddenly expendable. I mean, let's not make Joshua
He wasn't
Dobbs-
actually that expendable, though.
He was expendable because that team is trying to tank.
Right.
Yes. They
And
started
also-
Clayton Tune.
They're trying to do two things at once. Trying to make a fair evaluation on Kyler Murray because they're in the sweepstakes for
Right.
Caleb Williams, and they need an answer on that. But in the meantime, while there's all this ambiguity surrounding that, they were trying to lose. And Josh Dobbs beat the Cowboys.
Right, but if they thought they had a future with Josh Dobbs, they're not going to trade him like
Josh
they did.
Jobs.
Josh
is,
Jobs.
It's
a better name,
This is
actually.
what we
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
call him
Steve Jobs.
because Tony is
Yeah.
right.
Joshua
Tony,
Jobs.
this is where Greg Cody starts to deteriorate. You'll be able to
Right.
mark it. Anthony,
mistake, though.
Anthony
Thank you.
said earlier, and I
Freudian
think he's
slip.
got this right. What Josh Jobs just secured is jobs for a long time. That one game. Wait a minute. I can bring him in off the street. He doesn't know anybody, and he could go win at the Falcons in ways I don't understand, scrambling, somehow has more 20-plus yard runs than any quarterback in the sport. That's right. Just scrambling around for 20 yards. A play busts up, and next thing you know, Josh Jobs.
But Jobs has so much value right now in today's NFL, right? When you look at Tommy DeVito, when you look at Zach Wilson, like the backup quarterback, it's a good time to be a backup quarterback, is it
Well,
not?
this is something, Stugotz, that I think bears noting. It's become hard to play that position, harder. And Greg Cody mentioned something during one of the breaks. Very quietly, Mike mentioned some of this on just scoring being down. But very quietly, we've returned to Brock Osweiler 4-yard pass day, where everyone is so scared of the pass rushers that there's a lot of checking down, getting rid of the ball very fast, getting very small attempts on yardage.
Even the Chiefs at times.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's lower than it's been since 1970. It's worse than it was since Brock Osweiler, when I was complaining that they needed to change the rules. It's not just that scoring's down, It's that defenses have become so sophisticated, even the rules are changing to support offense, that still, because those people are so fast and the field is so small for their speed, they're not throwing the ball downfield. Like Will Levis ends up Tony goes crazy and makes him Dan Marino because it's like, holy, somebody's just throwing the ball downfield because everyone's throwing it short and it's gone wild conservative.
Yeah, we're seeing guys complete 33 passes for, 208 yards. I mean, it's crazy. And I noticed last week in NFL Week 8, there were, I think, 8 or 9 over-unders under 40 points, like 37.5, 38.5 over-under. That's an epidemic. That's a plague of low-scoring
Do you
games.
realize when Houston and Tampa do that you're grateful because there are 20 teams playing offense like the Steelers are?
Right.
That you're throwing
Yeah.
you're throwing to your running back 13 times in the Saints game for 30 yards. Like you're just checking down at every turn. I don't think it affects the product at all because Josh Dobbs wins in the witching hour, and you get Houston and Tampa Bay, two teams that nobody considers championship worthy, but they play close games, and you get your storylines, and somehow we don't care that scoring's down and that the offense isn't that good, and that none of those games in the 1 o'clock hour were any good except the one I keep talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like you just need that one game in the window to make it a good weekend because there's a lot of fart games on the schedule. There's a lot of fart games coming up this weekend that are terrible. But all you need is that one game to go 42-35, and it's like, oh, wait, this is exciting. We're back.
Well, you had the Falcons in Minnesota as well in that 1 o'clock window, right? That
Can
witching hour was pretty good, but it was a bunch of average teams, but it was very good.
But what I'm saying is
Yes.
it's such a stupid magic that sport has. No matter who's playing, no matter what their record is, the game is close at the end. I want to root for Heineke. I want to believe in my backup quarterback. I want to believe in Josh Dobbs, the third quarterback on a broken Minnesota team. And the whole thing's stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, but we love it. I mean,
I'm not saying we don't love it.
the greatest thing ever.
I'm not. That was a game last night. It was upgraded from fart game to game.
Not if you had the Chargers.
It's well, there's that too.
Easy dub.
That is why I can't bet Monday Night Dogs, even though they tell me they win at a 70% clip. That right there is because, of course, that's what's going to happen, except the night that I've got the Chargers. And then all of a sudden, hey, there's Zach Wilson driving down the field at the end to beat me. This happened to me on Sunday. I thought the bet was won. Patrick Mahomes, 26 rushing yards.
Same.
Boy.
The total was 24.5. He had 26 fairly early. Then the bad snap to Tua. Then 2 kneel downs.
Oh, boy.
And I go from over to under. And I was screaming curses at my computer.
$25.
I was ready to call and be like, this is a clerical error. A number of things still to get to, Stugotz. I've got some useless sound to give the people. I've got a stat of the day to give people. I've got a heroic shot by a fan that has some great video in it. And I also just want to talk to people about polling and who's answering phones these days in order to participate in political polling. Who has landlines in our audience, because obviously over the last 10 years, you can't really trust polling, but I am genuinely curious who is answering phones. My father is a person who likes to answer the phone no matter who is calling, but I think most people listening to this, if it's an unknown number, you're pretty much not answering it.
Ever. Yes.
So I don't know how the polling is working. We'll get to that in just a second. But during the break, for as long as I've known him, Stugotz is always plotting. And what he plotted during the break, Greg Cody was making fun of me. He's been calling me for years LeBatard, because I write columns or wrote columns that had a lot of heartfelt stuff in it and syrupy nonsense. And so Stugotz and Greg Cody during the break were making fun of me for choosing the lane of, in South Beach sessions, instead of going the route of Roy Firestone, which is a route that's been taken where you make the interviewee cry.
Yeah.
I'm taking the untaken lane of I make myself cry in South Beach.
It's a great lane.
In South Beach sessions.
You're
it's
the only
something-
one in it.
It's something that no one else has done. But what I want to, so as Stugotz and Greg Cody are making fun of me about this, I see, because Stugotz, again, for 20 years has been plotting during the breaks. Billy, you will love this part. Stugotz then realizes, it dawns on him that he has shared something with me in our industry that is a lane untaken. And he's like, I'm going to take that lane of Stugotz is going to cry during the interview of guests. And I don't believe that that's the right lane for you.
Gonna make myself cry.
That's right. that you're going to cry while interviewing others.
Sessions. I mean,
But Stugotz, this is funny. The idea of Stugotz. Have any of us seen Stugotz cry? Do you,
Crocodile tears
but
over here.
do you believe that a rock can cry? That you can get some moisture, some emotion out of a boulder?
Fake it.
It would be slightly inauthentic, I think. Stugotz is.
I've cried before.
I don't doubt that you have. I don't think any of us have seen you cry.
That's fair. Mom's funeral, perhaps, maybe. Was I crying?
I don't remember you.
No, we
crying.
watched that on Zoom.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah,
Tough
no
to see,
tears on
yeah.
that one. Yeah.
You're right. Sorry, Mom. Love you.
Does anyone here have a landline? Greg Cody, you still have a landline, correct?
You know, I did until about 4 or 5 years ago. And
That's
now
not true. I called your landline like months ago, a couple months ago.
Well, but it's not when he says landline.
Dad, yes, you still have a home phone. He has a wireless.
well, let
like,
him explain.
Hold on, let
wireless.
him explain.
It's
Yes,
wireless.
yes.
When I think of the word landline, I'm thinking of the cord.
Right.
Where the tangled cord, where you're walking around the
yeah.
kitchen trailed by a tangled
He's
cord.
right. He's right.
Right. Each number has a circle dial
It's
phone.
cordless.
Right.
Yeah, a wireless phone.
This is what has just happened here, and I want you to understand, because so many of you don't even understand what it is to have this particular phone that Cody has in his kitchen. But once upon a time, he had a phone that was attached to the wall, and that phone, the thing that he would put to his ear, had a looping curly wire that went all the way to the phone, to the
right.
physical phone.
Damn
and so
right.
that's what he's calling a landline. Once
Right.
that got to wireless, Greg Cody doesn't realize he's got a landline
you're right.
in his.
That's a good point. You're
Dad,
right.
it's what I call when I really want to reach you. It's how you get my dad. If he's at home, he might not answer his cell phone, but he'll answer that landline.
That's true. Yeah. Unless
My
it's a
mom still you have
scam likely.
reached the Codys. Like it's an old fat like they like living in the 70s.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
probably recorded 20
Right.
years ago. That message of hers.
Do you know how to access it? Have you heard your voicemails at any point recently?
No, I don't do that.
I leave voicemails just for fun because I know that most people do not even check their voicemail anymore.
Well, cell phones now, you don't even have to listen to it. Like you can look at it and it transcribes it for you. So you can kind of see what it is that it says without having to go through the whole thing. But there's some people whose voicemails are full and it's impossible to actually leave a voicemail, which is kind of like, what's going on here?
It's just someone who has taken no interest whatsoever in listening to any of their voicemails.
Right.
Stugotz is
Yes.
a message leaver. Hey, buddy, call
I am.
me back.
Yeah.
It's like,
I love
saw
a good
you-
message.
Dude, I see the
do.
missed call.
I love a good message.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
leave terrible messages. It's
Right.
like, hey, call me back when you have a minute. It's like, well, what is this in regards to? Also, Stugotz is the one that has the full voicemail logs.
I do. Yeah, I do.
When
Gotta
is-
clear them out.
When is the last time anyone here listened to a voicemail message? Is it something that any of you were doing? Like these are all, because I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that polling is done to find out, because people are now saying Trump is dominating the polls, and I'm legitimately asking, is the polling something that's accurate now? Who's answering their phones to do the polling, to sign up for this stuff?
I listened to my voicemails last week, I think, because I was getting close to being full there. And
does it tell you when you're full?
Trying to
Like,
clean it out?
how do you know when you're
I'm just
full?
trying to clear up memory, and you can see like the amount of memory that is left
Right.
on voicemail. So I was just trying to purge them, and I went back and I listened to a few of people that are no longer here.
I have that too.
How does that make you feel, Stu?
Not good.
Didn't make you want to cry?
Wow. My most recent
This is going to be
voicemail-
difficult. I got to be honest with you. Like, I've been thinking about the number of times I've cried in my life, and since I've been like a fully formed adult, I don't think I've cried once. I mean,
When was that? When you became a fully formed adult?
Let us know. I thought there was going to be an announcement of some sort around here.
I actually have a dentist appointment today at 4:00. It's the last voicemail I have. I probably should have listened to that.
And you just read it. It says,
Hi, this
We're
message for Anthony. We're calling from
calling to confirm. Yeah, you just good.
appointment for 4:00 on Tuesday.
I've run into issues here where whatever the science is involved and technology involved doesn't understand the accents of some of the people leaving me voicemails. And you go far enough down and it's nonsensical. So then I have to actually listen to the voicemail because I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever. What is this person actually saying?
I have an unlistened voicemail. Someone left a message from 2017.
Yeah.
I do, right here. It's Trog Keller.
Oh, wow.
Let's hear what he
Should
has
we
to
listen
say.
to it?
Let's
Yeah,
hear what
should
he
we
has
listen
to
to
say.
No.
That is a dangerous game, Dan.
I think we roll the dice.
Why is it a dangerous game?
I don't know.
Is it possible that a former ESPN executive is simply yelling on your voicemail?
It'll just be him shooting down one of Stugotz's harebrained schemes.
Probably.
No, you can't actually go back on game day for 2 consecutive weeks.
I got one from Trog in 2018 as well. How about that?
17,
And the bear.
I can guarantee you 17 sounded a lot more cordial than the one in 18.
Let's get to the useless sound montage, please. It is here earlier than it has been in previous weeks. Billy, your appraisal of the going on here is what?
It exists.
All right. Good praise.
When you convert in third downs, you get more snap opportunities.
Against a good football team that's known for scoring points and a good quarterback, you got to be able to score points, and we didn't do it enough.
No one's going to feel sorry for us, so we got to get back to work. We got to learn from our mistakes.
No one's going to feel sorry for me. No one's going to feel sorry for us. I'll learn from it, get better.
You know, we need to learn from these mistakes because, I mean, that's what these games come down to.
Hard-fought win. Look, none of these are ever easy in our league. All right, and for anybody that ever thinks that you got an easy one, you're waiting to get your ass beat.
Did a really good job of being poised.
To be able to bounce back and get a win, it always feels good.
It does feel good to win.
Losing's never fun. Losing sucks.
Good humbling day. Sometimes you have days like that, but give us a chance to be able to take a step back.
We got to find ways to do better and come up with a win in those situations, and no excuses. Just got to work and figure out how we can do it.
Well, start with the offensive line making great blocks, but the running backs was doing what they do.
We got to eat it, and we should be pissed off.
I'd say it looked like he was like the anchor leg of a 4x1 in track. So he got those knees up and was rolling down the field. So huge play that obviously mattered a ton at the end of the game.
It's a gutsy performance from him. Right? It wasn't all clean, but he gutted it out.
Our football team did not answer the bell here. We couldn't get it done.
That's why we work the way we work, and that's what we'll do. Get back to work.
Thought we had several games in a row where we're making good strides. And then when we went out and laid an egg today.
A lot of good we can take from this and use as we keep going.
Guys have just done a great job of fighting through that, keeping our eyes straight ahead, no turning to the left, no turning to the right.
He's the ultimate pro. He loves football. He's a great teammate, and he does anything you ever ask of him.
He's making plays. He wants it. He loves it.
No, I mean, got to finish drives. The yards don't mean anything if you don't finish those drives, for sure.
I was very, very proud of the resolve of. I'm very encouraged about the team.
I think it was really just our guys, making plays.
We were just able to go out and play good team football.
I mean, football is such an unbelievable game. There's highs, there's lows.
I thought there were parts of our offense that we did well, but there are definitely things that we can clean up.
Was it his best game? Obviously not. Was it his worst game? No, I'm not going to say it was even close to his worst game.
I feel like anytime we get something good going, we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot.
Man, we just came in the locker room and we told ourselves, there's nothing that they're doing that's stopping us, man. Let's stop shooting ourselves in the foot.
Two good football teams playing each other. It was great to be able to do that here in Frankfurt, and I just thought both teams put it all out there during that game.
I mean, what was that?
He's just meeting the obligation.
Who was that? That's somebody.
A lot of him and Han there.
Who was that?
Andy Reid.
What? Why? What? Just Just tired of giving interviews
in Frankfurt, and yeah, good game.
Putting it all out there.
Two teams.
They will do that here in Frankfurt, and I just thought both teams put it all out there during that game.
Andy Reid is just running out of words.
It looked like there was somebody in the back of the room trying to get attention to him. He's like,
he's running out of breath too.
Andy Reid's got to be tired of that. Not the fat jokes.
No.
Although that too. He's just got to be tired. Tell us how great Mahomes is. Yeah, Frankfurt, yeah. 7-2. Always 7-2.
Two great teams.
Yeah.
Both teams.
I'm always
put it out there.
7-2. Yes. I'm bored by being 7-2. I've got the best quarterback. Go bleep yourself.